The room was quiet, but tension filled the air. One of the men sitting at the table would soon betray his closest friend. He would do it with a simple act that looked harmless. By morning, everything would change forever. The disciples did not know that this meal would be their last peaceful moment together. Soon, fear would replace laughter. Confusion would replace confidence. The table where they sat would become a memory they would replay for the rest of their lives. The story of the Last Supper begins on the night before everything fell apart. Jerusalem was crowded with visitors. People had come from many places to celebrate the Passover. The city was loud during the day and uneasy at night. Rumors about Jesus were everywhere. Some people loved him, some feared him, others wanted him silenced. Jesus knew his time was coming. He knew the path ahead would be painful. Yet he chose to spend his final evening not in hiding, but with his disciples. These were the men who had walked with him 4 years. They had eaten together. They had traveled dusty roads together. They had seen miracles together. They gathered in an upstairs room prepared for the meal. The room was simple. A low table stood in the center. Lamps flickered softly against the walls. Bread and wine were placed before them. Everything looked ordinary. But nothing about this night was ordinary. Jesus looked at the bread and wine with purpose. These were common items. They were part of everyday life. Yet he chose ordinary things to explain an extraordinary sacrifice. He showed them that meaning is not found in wealth or power, but in surrender. As they sat down, Jesus looked at each of them. He knew their hearts. He knew their fears. He knew their loyalty was fragile. Still, he loved them deeply. During the meal, Jesus did something unexpected. He stood up. He took a towel and wrapped it around his waist. He poured water into a basin. Then he began to wash their feet. This shocked them. Foot washing was the work of servants. Yet Jesus knelt before them in humility. One by one, he washed their feet. Dirty feet, tired feet. Feet that would soon run away in fear. When he finished, he told them this act was an example. He showed them that true greatness comes from serving others. They returned to the table, but the mood had changed. A heaviness settled in the room. Jesus spoke with a calm voice. He said that one of them would betray him. The words cut through the silence. The disciples were confused. They looked at one another. Each man searched his own heart. They asked who it could be. No one imagined betrayal from within their own group. Judas sat there quietly. He had already made his choice. Earlier, he had gone to the religious leaders. He had agreed to hand Jesus over for money. The weight of his decision pressed on him, yet he stayed silent. The room carried both comfort and warning. It was warm with fellowship, yet heavy with truth. Jesus was preparing them for a world without his physical presence. He knew they were not ready. Still, he trusted that they would grow. Jesus took a piece of bread. He dipped it and handed it to Judas. This simple act carried deep meaning. It was a final moment of truth. A final invitation to turn back, but Judas took the bread. Then he stood up and left the room. The door closed behind him. The betrayal was set in motion. Judas walked into the night carrying silver in his hand. The sound of coins echoed louder than his conscience. He had followed Jesus, yet never fully believed. His heart was close in distance, but far in loyalty. The other disciples did not understand what had just happened. They thought Judas had gone to run an errand. They did not know they would never see him the same way again. Back in the room, the remaining disciples leaned closer to Jesus. They sensed something ending. They sensed something beginning. They did not know that this meal would shape faith for generations to come. After Judas left, Jesus spoke openly. He told them his body would be broken. He told them his blood would be poured out. He lifted the bread and broke it. He lifted the cup and shared it with them. He told them to remember him. The disciples listened, but fear filled their hearts. They did not fully understand his words. They sensed loss coming, but they did not know how deep it would be. Jesus spoke of love. He told them to love one another as he had loved them. He warned them that they would soon scatter. Peter spoke boldly and promised loyalty. He said he would never leave. Jesus looked at him with sadness. He told Peter that before morning, he would deny him 3 times. The meal ended quietly. They sang together. Then they left the room and walked into the night. The streets were dark. The air was cool. Jesus led them toward the Mount of Olives. In a garden called Gethsemane, Jesus stopped. He asked his disciples to stay and pray. Then he went a short distance away. He knelt down. He prayed with deep sorrow. He knew the suffering ahead, yet he chose obedience. While Jesus prayed, the disciples grew tired. They fell asleep. Fear and exhaustion weighed them down. They could not stay awake. As they walked toward the garden later that night, silence filled the air. No one knew what to say. Every step felt heavier than the last. The city lights faded behind them. The weight of destiny pressed forward. Suddenly, lights appeared in the distance. Footsteps approached. Judas returned, leading soldiers and officials. He walked straight to Jesus. He greeted him with a kiss. That was the sign of betrayal. The soldiers seized Jesus. Confusion broke out. One disciple tried to fight. Jesus stopped him. He allowed himself to be taken away. When the soldiers arrived, the moment moved quickly. There was no time to think, only time to react. Fear scattered the disciples like sheep without a shepherd. The disciples ran. Fear overtook them. They disappeared into the night. Everything they believed was collapsing. Later, as Jesus stood alone before his accusers, the memory of the table lingered. The broken bread, the shared cup, the love offered before betrayal. In the garden, Jesus faced the deepest struggle of his life. He was not afraid of pain alone. He was burdened by separation. He was carrying the weight of the world. Still, he chose obedience. Jesus was taken from one place to another. He was questioned. He was mocked. He was falsely accused. All the while, Peter followed from a distance. 3 times, people asked Peter if he knew Jesus. 3 times, he said no. Then a rooster crowed. Peter remembered Jesus' words. He broke down and wept. Judas, filled with regret, realized what he had done. The money no longer mattered. The betrayal had gone too far. His guilt consumed him. By morning, Jesus was sentenced. The path from the table to the cross was complete. The betrayal that began in silence had changed the world. The Last Supper was more than a meal. It was a moment of truth. It revealed loyalty and weakness. It showed love in the face of betrayal. Jesus knew what Judas would do, yet he still washed his feet. He still shared the bread. He still offered grace. The Last Supper teaches that failure is not the end of the story. Peter failed, yet was restored. The disciples ran, yet returned. Fear had a voice, but grace spoke louder. This story is realistic because it reflects human nature. People fail under pressure. Fear makes people run. Greed blinds judgment. Even close friends can betray trust. Yet the story also reveals hope. Failure did not end the story. Betrayal did not stop God's plan. Out of broken loyalty came redemption. The Last Supper reminds us that love can exist even in betrayal, that forgiveness can be offered even before repentance, that God's purpose moves forward even through human weakness. Every time this story is told, it speaks again. It speaks to those who feel they have failed. It speaks to those who feel betrayed. It speaks to those who wonder if their mistakes are final. The table that night held broken people, yet it also held hope. The betrayal changed the world, but so did the love shown before it happened. That night changed history, not because of the betrayal alone, but because love chose to remain faithful even when loyalty failed.